My name is
Andy Walker.
And his name is
Sean Carruthers.
Or
His name is
Biff the Cat.
Bing, bing, bing. Hey, buddy. Thanks for not showing us your butt today.
Thank you. Today on the show, we have no topic at all. We've run out of topics. We've told you everything we know. And so we're just going to answer mail from now on.
Well, that's not strictly true.
Okay.
I thought you were just going to roll the credits.
Thanks for watching. Bye. No, it's another fabulous edition. Feedback.
It's our mailbag.
It's our mailbag episode. Number, I don't know what number we're at now. It's just one of the many ones that we're doing. You guys seem to like them, though.
Yep.
So we're going to keep doing them.
Okay. As long as you keep sending questions.
That's right.
Which I know you will.
God knows.
We like the questions.
We
We
do.
don't answer them all, unfortunately,
No.
because we get so many of them. So if we don't answer you directly or in a mailbag, apologies, but we are getting quite a few.
And just finally to get one thing straight, yes, we do know Callie Lewis. No, we won't introduce you. Okay?
Right.
All right.
Will you introduce me to that dreamy Mike Lazazara?
Mike Lazazzo, yes, I will.
Great.
All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, your letters to us answered.
Yay!
This episode of Lab Rats. So during the break, Sean made a reference to his nipples, and I don't know how to deal with that. I just get so frightened by you sometimes. But I have to, actually, so let me just address one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You like to bang on Mr. Mike Lazazra. So tell them who Mike Lazazra is, in case they're not familiar with who the gentleman is.
That was a rather indelicate way of putting it, but Mike is actually someone that we used to work with at Call for Help back in the day, and he's was part of the podcast Command Ann.
Yeah.
And
with Amber.
he's also worked with Franklin Harris, our other
That's
good
right.
pal, on
Digital
the show Digital
Underground.
Underground. So
Yeah.
Mikey's kind of like a man about town. He's done a few different things.
We love him.
We love him a lot, but
And we use him a lot.
it's just sort of the role that he got into at Call for Help, and it's hard to get out of that.
He's the digital whipping boy.
Yeah,
Wasn't
the digital whipping boy. But
Right.
Mike, if you're watching, don't take that personally.
We love you, Mike.
It's all in good fun.
We do. It is. Anyway, okay. Mail?
Yeah.
Ready? Okay, so first letter today is from Aaron Weissman, and he says, loved your PDF episode, but he wanted to mention that we talked a bit about Qt PDF, right?
Mhm.
Off-brand PDF writers.
Yeah, because I mean, Acrobat, the proper version is something like $150 to $399, depending on how much money you want to spend and what features you want.
Right. And he has a concern about the off-brand ones, because what he says is, I write a newsletter for my synagogue, and I send a newsletter out via PDF to all the congregants. But two of our congregants are blind and use specialized screen reader software to read the PDFs that I send them. Their software could make heads or tails of any of the PDFs burned with anything but the full version of Adobe Acrobat.
So that's very important if you need something that's very standard. The off-brand stuff might not produce the standard to quite the same exacting standard.
Right.
And there's multiple levels of PDF. We didn't quite go into that, but there's a lot of different configurations of the PDF standard. So sort of think of like JPEG. You've got JPEG, you've got JPEG 2000, you've got different flavors of this. And same with the Windows document format. You've got Windows document that's compatible with 97, one that's compatible with 2003, one that's
Right.
compatible with the newer one. So yeah, there's a lot of different standards out there.
So
Same
Aaron-
with PDF.
Okay, very good. So Aaron closes by saying, so there are some instances where it's well worth spending the extra money for Adobe Acrobat, and it's worth remembering that PDF files need to be accessible, and he's right, they do. Now, what I want to know is how many shares of Adobe he actually owns. Anyway, thank you.
It's a good point.
It is a
We
good point.
we don't always think about these accessibility issues, and it's important to think
And
about.
my dad has a sight impairment too, and so so it's I'm very sensitive to that too.
Yeah.
So thank you, Aaron, for your email on that. And this is the power of our mailbag episode, because you guys get to comment on stuff we've done on other episodes and correct us or offer suggestions and hints and that sort of thing. So thank you.
All
That's
these
very good.
things that we may not have experience with, like that.
That's right.
All right.
Okay, next email from
Next episode already.
George, who is 12.
Is he 12?
That's what he says. He's
All
12.
right.
And he says he loves our show. He says he's got the biggest problem.
That's because
So,
you're 12 too.
inside I am 12, for sure.
Mhm.
When I start up my computer, it all works fine. Then after about half an hour, the screen turns black. And then I have to restart my computer. And it's really annoying. And he says, please, please, please help me.
All right.
So, any thoughts on the black screens?
Well, there's a couple things that could be causing that. For stuff like this, it's always hard to diagnose it over email. But first two things I would check. First of all, make sure you're updated to the most recent driver, especially if this is something that's happened all along.
On your video card.
On your video card.
Yeah.
Update your video card's driver to the most recent, because that might solve the problem. If this has just started more recently, again, updating the driver won't hurt because it could have gotten corrupted. But you might also want to consider heat inside your computer. Because one of the reasons components start failing is because of heat inside the machine. So it can be with the motherboard or other components as well.
Right.
Once the heat starts building up in there, then traces, or the pathways for the electrons to go down through the various components can break. And if it gets too hot, it might start causing problems like that. So
Connectivity issues, yeah.
connectivity issues. Or it could be just the whole thing is just so hot in there that it's just giving up. It doesn't know what to do.
So this could be a video card issue.
Right. It could be a video card issue in terms of the fan on the video card itself may have failed.
Yeah.
So after a certain amount of time, it may just be too hot and says, that's it, I give up. It could be an issue of the entirety of the inside of your system might be getting too hot. So you might want to go back to our previous episode where we talked about cleaning out the inside of your PC. So especially if you have pets, smokers in the house, or anything else, like it's a very dusty house because you live in the desert or whatever. Chipmunks, there's a lot of things that can get sucked into the front of your PC and just sort of bog up the works, and just heat will build up, and then it'll just, even if the fan is going on that video card, it might just still get too hot and give up.
And I have one other thought, and that is you may have a wonky monitor. So if you have a second computer in the house, swap out the monitor. Go and borrow your mom's monitor or a monitor that you can borrow from a friend. Plug that in and use that for a day and see if the same problem occurs. If it still does on an alternate monitor, then it means that the monitor is faulty. It means that if the problem is still there, it means the problem is inside your computer. And if it doesn't, it means that the problem is with your monitor. Make sense?
There you go. Yeah.
You
So
go.
that might be the easiest thing to check first.
Yeah.
Do that, then cleaning the inside of your PC
Right.
out as best as you can, and then
Video
start
drivers.
looking. Video drivers are always a good idea to update either way. But before you actually start ripping the cards out and poking around to see if there's any major issues, before you start doing that, try these other simple fixes first.
Right.
Start simple and work up to complex.
So, and if you want a video driver update, you should go to your computer manufacturer, go to the support area, the drivers, and see if you can download the latest driver in the video card area or graphics area. Or if you've bought a third-party card from NVIDIA or ATI, then you can get a new driver from those manufacturers on their websites.
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. Next. This is from Ginny in San Jose, California. And she says, and I love her. I love you, Ginny. She says, you guys are amazing.
Now you know how to get your letter read.
That's right. Flatter us, and we'll always read your email. Anyway, so she says we're fabulous, and she wants to know if there's a way to copy our episodes onto CDs, so they will always be there for her.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and
Yes, there is.
And she also enjoys seeing the kitties, too.
Yay.
There you go.
So now it depends on how you're watching the show, first of all. If you're streaming it online, so you're watching us in your web browser right now, you can't really save those at this point. But if you're downloading us through a client like iTunes, then yes, it'll be saving those episodes on your machine somewhere. So you have to go into the folder where it will automatically save our episodes. Then you can take those, import them into your CD burning program of choice. Or if you have a computer that will do that automatically through Windows or through Mac and just put it into a certain directory and then burn it, then you can do that as well.
Right.
So that'll be a backup for you.
Now, what you might want to do is, if you want to do this sort of separately or independently, you can actually go to our website at labras.tv, go to the episode, right, and you'll see all the different file formats that we have that we make available on the website. So WMV, MOV, M4V, whatever format that you like to watch. right-click on it, save as, and then that file will be downloaded to a place that you can put on your desktop for later saving, right? And then you can put it onto CD or DVD.
Yeah, so you can mix and match as you see fit.
Right. And if you have an Apple, you could use iMovie and actually make it, no, it would be iDVD. iDVD, and make it a DVD out of it.
That kind of bulks it up a little bit. It transcodes it and puts in. So there's one thing about that is if you're using a software, if you just want a backup of what we're doing so that you can play it back in your regular player later on, just save it as data. But you can actually take those files that we're doing and burn them into a DVD. You'll get less of them on a disk, but you can do that too.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Jeannie. And we're glad you think we're amazing.
Yes.
We do. All right. And Biff, too. Okie dokie. Moving on up. Kentrail's next. He say, hey, Mr. Andy and Mr. Sean. When's the last time he was called Mr. Sean? Sean?
It was ironic, I think, last time someone called me Mr.
So he says he loves the show, and he has one question regarding laptop cooling fans. When I got my first computer, I didn't have any kind of protection on it, and I got a whole bunch of malware on the computer, and it caused my computer to slow down, which makes sense. Viruses, malware, viruses, and spyware, right?
Yep.
And it caused the cooling fans to dramatically speed up and be loud.
Yes.
That makes sense?
Well, whenever anything is running in the background and it's using processing power, especially over a prolonged time, it just gets hotter and hotter, and the cooling fan has to kick in faster and faster, louder and louder.
And malware will run in the background, right, in your memory, and it's actually a program. So the computer is actually cranking away running the virus or running the spyware or whatever it is. So of course, it's going to use more resources. Anyway, so he said the Security Center recognized it, discovered that there was malware on the system, and then recommended a malware remover program. So he downloaded it, got rid of the malware, and everything was running smoothly again. That was about a year ago. And then he removed the program, or once the program did its job, he removed it, and the cooling fans are running suddenly fast and being loud again.
Yes.
Right? So he's a bit confused, and he wants to know what's going on.
Okay, so it's, I believe he also said that his system wasn't saying that there was any malware on the system.
Yeah, he did a scan and said there's no malware on here.
So first thing, make sure that you update your definitions for any anti-malware programs. So antivirus, anti-spyware, all of that. Make sure you update those regularly, because something that is out now may not have been detected by the definitions that you had a year ago. And so if you're still using that same one, then it won't see it, potentially.
Right.
So do that first. Second of all, make sure that the program that you're using, and I don't think you specified here, make sure it's reliable.
Oh, he downloaded a program called Spy Hunter.
Spy Hunter. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure about
Not
that.
Not a particularly great product as far as I know.
Yeah. Yeah, and so if back in the day when we did some anti-malware tests at Call for Help, it's really worth noting that not every program detects every single piece of malware. So some will miss certain viruses, some will miss certain bits of spyware. So if this program isn't particularly good, and again, I don't know much about this, it may be missing something that's really obvious and really cranking away at your processor. So.
Your timing is perfect for this question, because of course my new book, Windows Lockdown, Your XP and Vista Guide Against Hacks, Attacks, and Other Internet Mayhem, is out in stores this summer.
Yeah.
Right?
So go buy it now.
So go buy that, and that'll help.
Please buy it so he'll shut up about it.
But anyway, but let me give you a couple of pearls of wisdom about this. First of all, you're going to want to scan your system with, first of all, scan it with a fairly well-known or decent antivirus product, right? So you could do it with a branded product, but you could also try AVG version 8, just recently come out. Avast from avast.com is available and is a pretty decent scan. So you could try installing with both of those for those that are free, or find a paid version, okay? Here's the other thing, if it's spyware, spyware and viruses are very, very effective at hiding themselves now in your system. They use a product called a rootkit. So in the spyware world, you're going to want to use a product called Microsoft Defender, which is free, or Spybot Search and Destroy, or Adaware. All three products are free. Okay, so I would scan with all three of those. And I'm really going to, like in my book, I recommend that you actually use a paid version of a product. Perhaps PC Tools, they have a product called Spyware Doctor. And WebRoot's got a really good product called Spy Sweeper. So all of those tools I would scan with at least the freebies, and certainly one of the branded versions as well.
Yeah, I'd also mention that if you're worried that you might have a rootkit on your system, SysInternal's division of Microsoft also has pulled in something called rootkit remover, which will look to see if there's something buried on your system that these versions of that these anti-spyware programs aren't catching.
Right. And if you just real quick, a rootkit is a product that malware writers use to cloak the malware product. So, for example, it's sort of like the invisible cloak on Harry Potter, right? So it actually hides all of the bad stuff.
Yeah, it puts it in a little separate area of your machine that is undetectable.
So it makes it hard for scanners to find it. So.
Now, with all of that security stuff out of the way, the one thing I will sort of add to all of that is systems as they grow older get slower, especially, again, we talked about dust and stuff in the machine, and notebooks are susceptible to dust as well. So you may just need to clean that thing inside as well if it's built up grunge inside.
Right, it's true. So, yeah, it could just be a matter of the cleaning. Right?
Yeah, and please, please, please do not take compressed air and shoot it into the inside of your machine.
Yes.
On that.
Because you'll freeze stuff.
Yeah, especially if it's running.
And don't spray it at your co-host.
Don't spray it at your co-host or your co-host cat. Yeah.
Right. Okay, good.
So there you go. I think we have time for one more question.
Well, should we look for a fun one? MAC addresses? USB? One more. Okay.
One more.
Let's find one of these fun ones here.
That last one was good.
That's one you like, the last one?
Yeah, that one is fun.
All right. Oh, yes, yes. Okay, so this is from a guy called Nathan Knott. And what he says is, during our intro on Lab Rats, Sean appears on the right, and Andy appears on the left.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
And when we introduce ourselves, I am on the right, and Sean is on the left. And this is driving him crazy.
This doesn't make any sense. I have no clue what this email is about.
I know, exactly. Look. I'm here, and he's
I'm
there.
here. Yeah, it's all
What's
just
the problem?
the way you expect. So, yeah.
Get over it, Nathan. Jeez.
I think I've pointed this out before as this is how come you park in the driveway and drive on the parkway sort of question.
It is. It is.
Science will never know the answer.
We're so sorry we're ruining the balance in your universe, Nathan, but it's the way it goes. Oh, well.
It's going to be one of those things that appears in the trivia section of our IMDb entry.
That's right, exactly.
Think of it that way.
All right. So let's take a break. Do we have pictures for this episode?
I don't know. You're the one that's standing over there.
That's true, I don't. Well, you have to check my Mac and see if the pictures are on there already. All right. Well, we'll take a break, and when we come back, picture time?
Maybe.
After this, maybe. Maybe if I can find it on my Mac. Hey, we have a couple of final requests, real quickies, before we get to this picture time.
Okay.
And this is from Andy Corrado, who is local to us, I think. He's actually local in the Toronto area.
There we go.
And he says, hey, guys, have you ever thought about putting a webcam on the show and maybe using Stickum or Ustream to broadcast live as you shoot these things?
We have thought about this.
Yes. And I think we probably will at some point.
Yeah, you know, our good pal Leo Laporte is now doing this full time. So he's our sort of test case. We said to Leo, you know, we're not sure that this is going to work, so can you please go out and spend a bunch of money on a studio and see if this is viable? And I think it might be, so.
Stay tuned.
But yeah, no, we've talked about doing this before, doing live shows, and you know, it's something in the future. It's logistically a little bit more difficult considering the way we've been putting the shows together, but
we're working on a couple of things.
We've got some ideas.
We have some ideas, so stay tuned. That's all we can say right now. Okay.
Oh, now I want to know what those ideas are.
Stay tuned. All right.
I can't wait. Is it available on the internet? Is it on WikiLeaks?
No. Okay, so, and then this is from Henning Johansson. He's in Canada somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, hey, boys, how about a weekly shiny? You know, perhaps a hardware one from Sean and a software one from Andy.
Sean's Shiny. Where have I heard that before?
So, yes, we're thinking about that too. And reference the previous question, some ideas coming soon. We might be adding some stuff.
I really need to know what our ideas are now.
Stay tuned.
I knew he was going to say that.
Stay tuned. Good ideas. Keep the ideas coming. We love them. We often adapt them. Keep your questions coming. Keep your ideas for new shows coming, because we're actually running out of ideas. What are we going to do next week?
I don't know.
Oh. So make sure you send those to feedback@labras.tv. All right, and it is now picture time.
Excellent.
All right.
I love this part of the show.
Okay, go on. Picture time. What the heck?
I don't know. Oh yes. This is actually from Chris, and this is his Linux desktop. So this is like a screenshot of his desktop. as well.
Ubuntu.
Is it Ubuntu?
Maybe. Or Debian. I don't know.
It's in there somewhere.
Cool.
So,
All
but
right.
yes, I mean, yes, send us your desktop, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
Ultimately, we prefer to see you with your desktop.
How have you pimped your desktop? That's what we want to know.
Yes.
Pimp your desktop. Pimp your computer. Let's see. Let's see what you've done to trick it out. It'd be cool. Yeah.
There you go.
Hmm.
Okay.
All right, good. Moving
A
on.
new feature on the show, which apparently we can't talk about until later on, so stay tuned. Here we go. Another couple of podcasters here.
Naughty.
Yeah, it's a little bit naughty. And I think this will probably sort of reinforce that, you're probably watching this show because we have our shirts on. But,
Yeah. And if we took them off, you would stop watching the show.
But the conceit of this show, this is Sweetie and Zork from bedvlogs.com, and they do their show from bed.
Bet. It's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing a show from bed with you.
No, not going to
It's
happen.
just not going to happen. But these two are an actual couple, as opposed to just guys who know each other.
Right.
So
Got it.
it's okay.
Okay, good.
So there you go.
Sweetie and Zork.
Bedvlogs.com.
Hmm?
And,
Bedvlogs.com.
yeah, and I forgot to ask Zork if he's actually named after the old video game.
Could be. Well, there you go. Thank you. Thanks for that.
You have been killed by a Gru.
You're a strange man.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, don't forget to visit our website at labras.tv. We have zillions of episodes. If you would like to send us a comment or a email to include in our feedback episode, our mailbag episode, episodes where we respond to your questions, send them to.
Feedback@labrats.tv.
And don't forget to buy my book,
And don't forget to buy this book.
Windows Lockdown, available at amazon.com.ca.co.uk and everywhere in the world right now. All right, there you go. That's it for us. Anything else to add? No, he's done. All right, my name, what is my name? My name's Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
Thank you for pushing play on your player this week. And we'll see you next time.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Are you ready? Try this at home.
Oh, my pants are falling down.
Children
And we
and-
stand by yet again.
Okay, no, let's go, let's go.
3,
I pulled them up to my
2,
nipples, I'm ready.
1.